The Tibetan word tulku, or trulku, is coming out of the Tibetan word trul, or trulpa, which means emanation. So the ku on the end means body, and it is a direct translation of the Sanskrit word nirmanakaya. Nirmanakaya is used in Buddhism to reference the manifested or illusory body of Shakyamuni Buddha. He more in Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana than he has different types of bodies. So the Nirmanakaya, the Sambhogakaya, the Dharmakaya. They even add to these. I mean, we even can have more bodies. But then that becomes a little bit more tantric in nature. Now, we've already talked a little bit about tulkus and who they are and what they're supposed to represent and how they appear in art, sculpture, and painting. But the question has come up about animals and tulkus. So in terms of historical figures, we really only have 4 that I'm aware of, that I can find. And the 4 teachers are the historical Shakyamuni Buddha, and his stories of previous births are generally found in the Jatakamala and in the Abhidhamma collections of stories. Now, within other traditions of Buddhism and other textual collections, there's many stories. There's many stories in different traditions of Buddhism that reflect the previous lives of the Buddha. So these aren't the only ones. These are just the ones that are popular in the Himalayan regions and Tibet. So that's the Jatakas and the Abhidhammas. Now, the other 3 teachers that have animal pre-incarnations are the student of Atisha, Dromten Gyalwa Jungne, the Dalai Lama, and then the Desi Sangye Gyatso. Desi Sangye Gyatso. Now, there were some number of Desis, 5, 6, 7, I can't recall exactly how many there were, but towards the end of the 5th Dalai Lama's life, the Desi, the regent at that time, was called Sangye Gyatso. And an incarnation plan, schemata was designed for the Desi Sangye Gyatso, as well as the Dalai Lama's incarnations and the Panchen Lamas were all kind of designed in the 17th century at this time. Also, the 5th Dalai Lama, the 1st Panchen Lama, and the Desi Sangye Gyatso, their incarnation lineages were also designed together so that they all interrelate with each other. But of course, the Desi Sangye Gyatso came to an untimely end, and his line did not really continue. So that plan was only partially put into effect. So, but that's not really the point here. The point here is the animal pre-incarnations. Now, we've dealt with Shakyamuni Buddha. Now, in terms of the Dalai Lama and Dromten Gyalwa Jungne, we kind of have to look at them as the same. Dromten Gyalwa Jungne has a series of stories that are considered to be his pre-incarnations in India, allegedly related by Atisha, although it's thought that the book is called the Kadam Lekbam, but it's thought that this book was not a product of Atisha, but was a product of Dromten's own students who were trying to elevate him in the eyes of other teachers and other traditions in Tibet in the 11th century. So, Dromten Gyalwa Jungne, in this book called the Kadam Lekbam, has many previous incarnations. 2 of them, one is a rabbit and one is a parrot. So these are the 2 animal pre-incarnations of Dromten. Now, later on in the 17th century, then it was designed that the Dalai Lamas were also incarnations of Dromten. So therefore, the Dalai Lamas also have the previous incarnation, as does Dromten, of the rabbit and the parrot. Then the Daisy Sung Jijatsu, he has a previous incarnation of a horse. Now, there is a verse text written that lays out, that describes all of the incarnations and previous incarnations of the Daisy Sung Jijatsu. I have not seen it, but it was, I believe there was a copy in the Tibet House, New Delhi, and I was only told about it by Gene Smith of the TBRC. And we also have art. We have art that depicts the previous lives of Daisy, and in there we have the horse as well. So these are really the only 4 teachers we have that I'm aware of that have had animal pre-incarnations, which we can actually find in painting. And that's a key point here. What can we actually find in painting, and what is carried on as visual culture in Tibetan Buddhism? So press the like button. It can be important to us because it has to do with stats for how the internet works and how the search engines work. Also, you can ask questions, you can subscribe, you can join Horror on Patreon, and you can donate directly to Himalayan Art Resources on the Horror website.